Wow, I think we're live. I tried to connect to this also. I think I should be called an old man in a chair. I tried to connect this to a couple of other platforms, but that didn't happen. I've been working kind of like non-stop for the past few days trying to figure out the app called School. Actually, what puts me off is people talking about how they're making millions, and I just, you can smell bullshit a mile. So that really bothers me. School basically is a platform where you can literally be anybody with absolutely zero qualifications and make money. It literally is pathetic. And that's another thing that bothers me as well. But hey, each to their own. It's like these people are saying that they've got 2,000, 3,000 people following them, and they're charging, $500 for a lifetime. And like, how can you charge $500 for a lifetime? You might die tomorrow. And this guy's made 5 million and stuff. It's just like, I just want to regurgitate when I look at all this shite, because all it is trying to pull people in via their energy of greed. And if you're an NPC, a filler in, then you'll be pulled into it for sure. You will. Anybody else who's got a conscience will know that's just bullshit. And it's just a way to make the guy who owns it even richer than he is. I really truly wanted to come away from YouTube, and I mean that till this day. But the reason why I'm not is because, as you can clearly see, it's so easy for me to come onto YouTube. It's easy to use. There is no hassle. The only downside, which is the downside more than any downside, is that it stopped. It is not an app. It is it's a jail with invisible bars, a jail that we are not allowed to speak. And so I've really tried hard to open a school, and I have opened the school account. I have opened it. Some of the things that really, really upset me is because people are saying that, we'll miss you on YouTube. And I like that. That guts me up a bit. But that said, it's very difficult to do videos where you've got so many numpties online now, so many tools, so many plonkers, so many idiots just out there for the fun of causing hassle. Easy to cause hassle to a healer, but not so easy to go and find those that deserve it, like pedophiles and rapists. No, they choose a healer. And this is how pathetic and how nil and void of a consciousness they are. And to be fair, it sounds like most of the time for the past 12 years, I've been basically, with a fiddle. But no, I've actually been honest. It's honesty, it's truth. It's just annoying. It's frustrating. It looks bad in the comments. And waking up to it, reading these things, because I either have a choice. I read, I don't read. I'm not reading any of them. Then Mark becomes a pain in the ass, not nice. I have bad things said about me. Why? Because I don't answer people. Literally, I have people out there who've written, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, because Mark isn't a nice person. He didn't answer me. So it's difficult to balance in this. And it's not about, well, it is. It's about who you are. You've only got who you are. That's it. It's this. I was born in the late 60s, so I'm a slap on the hand deal, shake hands on a slap and a spit. What does that mean? My word is my bond. And when somebody says your word isn't your bond, that's fighting talk. To me, that's fighting talk. That's how much my word means to me. What does a word mean to anybody these days, especially to NPCs? To those with no conscience, they couldn't give a shit. They'll smile in your face and tell you how wonderful you are, and then they'll stab you in the back. You don't think I was wonderful. What you wanted was everything that I am. You wanted to steal it, and then you wanted to copy it and then reproduce it, which happens every day to me. The sad thing about it is they don't realize that it never works, because people who have conscience can see through it. But that doesn't bother me. It's kind of like quite nice, really, because they can see something that what I talk about that they then use and utilize on their YouTube channel. And I like that to a degree, but the maliciousness of how some people are is what bothers me a lot. I don't like two-faced people. I won't speak to them. Once I know somebody's two-faced, not interested in them. Won't contact them, won't speak to them ever again. Too many people in this world that you have to deal with this kind of energy, not interested. But to say that I was going to open, and I'm still thinking about opening school, it would be for those who are really serious in learning. And do you know what that means? I'm 57 years old, and yes, you might think that's still young, but energy wise, compared to when I was 20, 30, 40, you kind of slow down a little bit. There is no doubt you don't have that kind of energy the same, even though I train every day with my bench and walk Lily every day, or for 3 or 4 kilometers, nearly every day anyway. But that said, what it would mean is if I put a paywall up, is that I'm beholden to my friends who decide to come on and learn. And that's something that bothers me as well, because I've never been one for school. And for me, it's like when I feel the energy or the mood, I'll do a video like this and chat with you all and share what I can, share my knowledge. And that's always worked for 12, 13 years on here. It's worked, and you can see by the videos, they're all free. I've never had a paywall. Maybe once in 5 years, I might have done one. Do you want to come and learn how to read flowers? Well, it's 25 euros for, a few hours. I've done that every now and again. One of the reasons why I did that is because I didn't want numpties on there. I didn't want numpty. I just wanted it like, well, if you're going to pay 25 pounds, you're serious. So you're going to watch, you're going to listen, you're going to pay attention. If you offer it for free, you're going to get numpties on there with intentions of nothing more than selling themselves, selling crystals, selling their books. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's become absolutely brutal on the comment section with people saying, oh, you should go and listen to so-and-so or read so-and-so's book. It's absolutely like you're just using another way of conning people. You're not on my channel and you're not really wanting to share this. You're full of shit. You're just trying to sell something of somebody else. This isn't the right intention. This is not the right way. I know the difference when somebody comes on and says, you know what, Mark, that was lovely. You know, there's a lady who's similar to you and, maybe you should check her out. She's really nice. Yeah. I know the difference between somebody coming, hi guys, I know I've spoken to you about this before, but you really need to go and see this person and just go away, you cretins. So you can forgive me when I say I'd feel a lot better with a paywall. And a lot of you said you can't afford a paywall. So I can't do both. I can't do it free or a paywall. It's impossible. So I've been trying to figure out a way to make things easy for everybody and to continue sharing what I've learned over these 2 decades. And sometimes I'll give you hints and thoughts and feelings, but this is obviously my second strike. Obviously, I'm like that now. I'm on my second strike. If they choose to watch this, which I'm sure they will, because I've got people who hate me who will send this video to somebody on YouTube and say, this guy said something, I think you should watch it. And then somebody will watch it, and then that's how I get my strikes. I'm sure it's not all AI. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it's half and half. So when you've always got this moment of pause, can you imagine we've come to this stage of moment of pause because we're frightened of losing our channel? And literally all my friends say, stop being an idiot, Mark. Come on, this is your channel. You've worked 12 years for this. And how easy is it for YouTube just to take me down at any given moment now? So there's part of me which is, don't tell me what to do. And there's part of me which is, don't be a fool. And that's a tough one. It's a hard balancing act, that, because, you know, yeah. So again, hold myself back, because if I say the wrong thing, they'll shut me down. Just put yourself in my shoes. Imagine you were here now and you were and I was listening to you and you were talking to me. Imagine your conversation of what's something that you love to talk about. But within that conversation, YouTube says, if you say another word about health, if you say another word about what's going on in this world, we're going to shut you down. That is tyranny. That is George Orwell 1984 playing out as we speak. And we are in that energy. It is covered up nicely by, but we do it because we don't want false information. No, free speech is free speech. And if it is bullshit, people will know it's bullshit. People see through it. They know it. At the end of the day, evil does what evil does. Evil controls the playground. Evil controls the kind, the caring, the loving. And evil certainly, now we know, controls truth. Dare you speak up against the bully, you will be punished. And now you're seeing it becoming more and more obvious of the likes of what many talked about years ago. We are seeing that they are using their fist. They're using terrifying fines. They're using jail time. No matter how strong you are of heart, no matter how resilient you are, if you're not a thug, if you're not somebody who kicks the crap out of people all the time and enjoys a good fisticuffs, likes a good fight and smiles about it when they do. I mean, Tommy Robinson's is a perfect example. Is that he likes a the guy admits it. He likes a fisticuff. No matter what you say, he's a tough lad. That's what he was born. That, like, hey, don't separate him from any other boxer, because a lot of boxers like a good fisticuff. He used to fight, as far as I'm aware, he used to fight all the lads where I went to one football match, and Pompey, as they were called, against Huddersfield, and they'd be a group of lads who used to like to kick the crap out of each other. They loved it. They enjoyed it. I don't remember knives. I just remember fists, and they used to like a good punch up. So when you've got that energy, then I don't think it's really that big a deal from having a good punch up all the time in pubs or wherever you are to getting arrested. Kind of get used to it. So you get arrested all the time. Everybody knows you because you like a good fight. You get arrested. You get put into a jail cell for a few nights, 3 nights. You get accustomed to that. So people like the Tommy Robinsons are kind of like, I don't care. I'm going to, and there's that aspect of it. But all you've ever done is said, I just want peace. I want to go out there and laugh and feel the love of life. And we know now that by design, totally by design, that this world isn't of love anymore. It's becoming more and more evident that things are getting so bad, that you can't go into forests. And the reason why is because you'll probably burn the forest down. It's your fault. You'll burn the forest down. And because you're going to burn it, because there's a chance that you're going to burn the forest down, we're going to fine you $50. But that's okay. The first time, $50, but the next time, $150. And then it's prison. And then it's prison for up to 6 months. What for? For walking in the forest? No, I didn't say that. No, that's exactly what you said. No, I said that you could cause a fire. And if you could cause a fire, then you're going to prison. But I didn't cause a fire, and I wouldn't cause a fire. That's not the point. No, it's exactly the point. So hang on a minute. Am I getting deja vu here? I'm not going for a walk, because if I do, I'm going to get fined and prison sentence for what again? For walking on my own in the mountains with nobody around there. But still, because you could catch a disease, a virus, and you could spread it to everybody walking on your own. Yeah, but I'm just walking on my own. That's not the point. We're going to lock you up. You see how it's all connected? This is all by design. This has nothing to do with fires. It's got nothing to do with viruses. It's to do with they're trying to lock us up. The darkness, the bullies that are connected to the darkness, they have an agenda. And that agenda is to get us into a space where they can watch us all the time. And that space will be just like school. There will be no prison bars, but you ain't leaving. You ain't going anywhere because we don't know where you're going. And if we don't know where you're going, then we're going to fine you. We're going to arrest you. We're going to throw you into a prison. And at best, you'll get 150,000 fine. When you allow darkness too much power, when you give numpties too much power, this is the outcome. They will do everything they can to lock you up. Why? Because they hate you. Bullies hate you. Evil hates you. You are everything that they hate. And when you understand this, you realize that everything that's being done, whether it's what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, everything that they oppose on humanity is to torture, is to make sick, is to cause the greatest suffering they can. And everything that they want to be normal, you can sure bet is attached to satanic energy, is attached to the overlords, the pushing of birth right up till the very last moment. And then you go into one of these clinics where it is a satanic ritual happening every few hours. What people have no idea about, there is a satanic ritual, not only a satanic ritual, but what happens to the parts. This is all so dark, and how the world is going right now is so bad. It's so dark, and I have an awful gut feeling right now that things are getting to be accelerated. Darkness is pushing even harder. The likes of the gates from hell and all of these monsters who are creating culling, they're creating eugenics, they're creating those that cannot give birth again. They're doing everything they can to stop humanity. They want to cause as much damage. They want to separate humanity. They want to cause chaos in every town and every city. Through chaos, they thrive. They watch it burn. Great Britain's done it for years. That's why you will always see not one cross on the flag, but two. Two, what does that mean? Double cross. They're double crosses. And that's what this energy is. It watches everything burn. I placed a video on my, I think, website with regards to what I believe is happening in this world right now, and it's happened every time. It's a constant. I feel it when I attune to it. I feel this is not something that's just happened. This has happened through thousands of years. And we look back and think we were in caves. We weren't in caves. It's all bullshit. Everything that they've taught us is a lie. That's why so many of us in school couldn't stand it. Because when you are with a bully who's lying to you, you just want to get away from him. You're lying. I know you're lying through your teeth. You're saying all of these things that I'm feeling the pain and suffering because it's a lie. Some things at school you did like because you knew it made sense, but most of it was a lie. And actually, if you look at everything in your life, if you look at all your reactions, all your negative reactions, if you look at your pain and suffering of your past, I guarantee that 90% of it was from school, obeying, doing what you're told, just to be told that you're a perfect child or you're a wonderful child. I didn't buy into that. I didn't need to because I knew who I was. But most people buy into it, do it because they want to make everybody happy. They want their mum and dad to be happy. And then they realize that they're nothing more than robots. They've been programmed into the program with no real personality. And then they get to an age like mine and then they're scratching their heads thinking, I don't even know who I am. That's right. You don't know who you are because you spent your life being a robot. Hard pill to swallow, but it's true. And how many kids are going through the same thing with their mums and fathers? It's true. So
and we've chosen Sartan to rule next. The ninth ray must remain in the hands of mindless brutes we can control. And the infamy of Deja Thoris' wedding death will seal his reign. We've been playing this game since before the birth of this planet, and will continue to do so long after the death of yours. We don't cause the destruction of a world, Captain Carter. We simply manage it. Feed off it, if you like.
feed off it.
But on every host planet, it always plays out exactly the same way. Populations rise, societies divide, wars spread. All the while, the neglected planet slowly fades.
There is a hidden hand. There is a dark force of this world that controls this world, manipulates this world constantly. But we have to also acknowledge that when so many people talked about NPCs, so many people talked about fillers in, the backdrop people, there is truth in this. There is truth in this. When you meet somebody that is a blank stare when you explain something to them, and those people you normally find don't have a conversation with their consciousness because there isn't one. They don't understand when you say that you speak to your soul every day. You hear your soul through your brain every day. Your soul is speaking and your brain is communicating. So when you're having a conversation in the car driving, you're having a conversation with your consciousness is actually attuning and giving you guidance through the brain. That's what it's for. But when you speak to these people with no soul, there are people with no souls. There is no doubt about how can they live? They live by energy and frequency of this world, which is part of the human body. That has nothing to do. At one point, I used to truly believe, right, because I was taught this, I was told this, so okay, it kind of makes sense. But then you realize that I realized that actually I said to both my teachers, that's not true. And they looked at me in disgust. And I said, it's not true. Why is it not true? I says, because I was giving a healing session yesterday to somebody who was round about 90 years old, 87 years old, lovely man. But when he came in with his wife, there was absolutely no consciousness in there. It was gone. And yet the body was still moving and talking from the brain. And I remember laying him down and his wife saying, he's got severe dementia. Is there anything you can do? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm willing to give healing and we'll see afterwards. And this happened regularly, not once or twice, I'd say at least 50 times. So this is something that I'm very aware of. So I normally work on the brain and then I go to the heart. And the brain is about clearing all the heavy energy and the heart is about giving energy to strengthening it. And there is always a point in that healing session. It could be 40 minutes. It was normally, not all the time, but roughly about 35 minutes to 45 minutes. The hour and 10-minute session or 20-minute session, it was normally 45 minutes when it kicked in. What kicks in? The consciousness, the spirit comes back again. And I can tell you wholeheartedly, I cried when times where the man didn't even lie down. He sat down and I placed my hands upon his head and started the healing work. And their wife was sat up, not in this room, but in Tickle Pink upstairs. And they were sat where the seat was for them to sit down. And I'd give the healing and the man would be like this. And then all of a sudden, and I wouldn't see his face or his head, but I would go, the soul is back in. That the soul is back in. And then all of a sudden, the wife would start crying. He'd start crying. This had happened so many times. They'd get up and cuddle each other. And she would say, you're back. So with that knowledge, that isn't bullshit. It's experience and it's there in front of my eyes. And this happened many times. I went to my mentors who I cared for. And like, I believed that, well, isn't my truth important? And it wasn't. It wasn't accepted. It wasn't taken in. It wasn't even paid attention to. And it was good in a way because it made me realize that they're not teachers. They're regurgitators of information. And that's when I realized I had to break away because they were holding me back. So imagine if you were my teacher and I said to you, and you said to me, look, the spirit and the body works together. When the spirit dies, the body dies. Well, I didn't see that happen. What I saw was a man on many occasions and women who came, or I went to their property and I saw a body which was working as a heart which is of a battery life. It works, it's functioning, but it's a bit like saying the lights are on, but nobody's home. And when my hands is over the client and I feel there's this quick moment of, you feel the soul, the spirit of somebody come in. Something has changed. The energy, the aura field expands. You feel it in your hands. You can feel it in your heart, in your stomach. You can feel it in your head. Something has changed. And then when you know so much changed, but all of a sudden the man gets up and goes and gives the wife a hug, and then he's back and he's talking, but now it's a different energy. It's not just talking, it's feeling, it's knowing. It's knowing of the wife knows the husband's home, back home in the body. I could talk about this for hours, but I get shut down by spiritual people all the time. Teachers, mentors, they call me and like, why would you call somebody just because you've been taught something that's different? And thus, I've always been a loner in this field of work. I'm not, just like at school, I was never accepted at school. I was always the naughty boy, which I wasn't naughty. I never hurt anybody at school. I used to play around. I used to jump over the school wall and played with the other school, which was all girls. And I used to love that, talking to the girls. I used to love it. And they used to be like, it used to be great fun. And then I used to jump back over again and maybe get caught by the teacher and then get told off. But it's okay. A wall ain't going to stop me. I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. I'm not a slave. But as I said, you can certainly understand when this dark government starts to tell us that we are no longer allowed to do things. And if you do, you will be incarcerated. You will be fed bread and water. You will be shown to the world as the dark mainstream media is nothing more than the hand, the fist of darkness. We will embarrass you to the world and show the world that if you dare speak, this is what we do, just like at school. Bajerski, get out, get into the middle of that playground, fold your arms and put your hand over there and stay there all the way through the lesson. Do you know how many times I did that? You have no idea how many times. And guess what? Everybody saw me. But as time goes on, you realize that that doesn't affect you anymore. Just like when a father beats you, eventually that doesn't affect you. The beating doesn't affect you. It has no power. Maybe the thought of being beaten has. Maybe that is detrimental, but the beating doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't become relevant. So each of us have grown up differently, and every child goes through pain and suffering because this is what this world is. It's a world of pain and suffering. We're lucky if we have a good life, if we're protected by those who are clever enough to protect us. But then again, no matter how hard a father and mother tries to protect his child, you have to also understand that that child has to go out into the world and experience it. And now I can honestly say I would not, and I do not like the fact that my daughter's in the UK, and I pray every day for her because I know how bad it's getting. It's awful. And what did this guy say? What did this fella say? We wait till the planet grows, and then by design, we cause chaos, divide and conquer. Why do you think there's boats going to every country? it's going to cause pain and suffering, all by design. It's got nothing to do with racism or hate. It's to do with by design. It just doesn't work. So all by design cause the chaos, and then you have the absolute problem, reaction, solution. The darkness that causes the problem deliberately and says it's all for our benefit and it's all good and you should want this to happen. Again, it's not blaming individuals. It's knowing that this isn't about blaming individuals. They will do what they do no matter which country they're from. But knowing that by doing this, there is a greater chance to cause pain and suffering. And that's what they do. It is a chess game and they know every move. And that's where we are right now. And I have a strange feeling. I have a really weird feeling in my stomach that things are accelerating. And I said this morning that there's two things that are happening here. And one is that humanity, human bodies, will always go through this suffering. They will always be used as mortar fire. They will be used as weapons. They will be used as shields, human shields, as the dog tags are given to them, because that's exactly what the darkness believes that they are. They're just dogs. That's how they treat them, as you know. So this is all by design, all by design. Anyway, going back to this, I wrote something today which really made sense to me, and I found that I went through a process of feeling really, really bad. And that process from feeling bad is now, it's not affecting me as much. And I asked myself why. I always check in on myself. And I wondered why I'm not feeling as bad. Well, it has got something to do with health and well-being. So I've been eating better. I've been feeling better. But I realized it's not just that, something else. I've realized that we have so much lies on AI now. We have so much lies on everywhere. There's so many lies. There's so much information covered with lies. There's so many lies that there comes a point where your brain switches off and says, well, it's so hard to see between anything these days with the AI technology. Although you do know, but still you're getting to the point, or I am, that it's probably best not even looking anymore, because you just don't know. And I don't want to spend every day trying to channel what's right and what's wrong. That's not why we're here. We're here to live an earthly life and try our best to make the best of our life and help as many people as we can around where we are. That's why these phones weren't meant for us. We are meant to acknowledge and be part of a community. And of course, that's what they don't want. That's why they're closing borders. That's why they're stopping you from traveling. That's why you won't be going anywhere if they get their way. And like I said, for people to get up and say no more, it's a difficult one. And this idea of going to London with Tommy Robinson and stood there saying, you know, with handbags and flowers and saying, we love you and we love everybody. We just want a happy life. Do you honestly think the bully gives a damn about that? They're happy for you to do that because they're waiting for you to go home so they can carry on. All what will happen is that it'll be a day or two of talking about how bad things are, but nothing will happen. It will continue. The only time it doesn't continue is if everybody all at once stops doing what the government tells them that they don't want them to do. That's the only time everything will stop. But the problem is not everybody is the same. Everybody within is different. So you have those who have been completely severed from their consciousness. You've got backdrop NPCs, you've got fillers in, you've got monsters. You've got so many different people from different parts of the universe, the cosmos, from the spirit worlds. And we're all different. And to expect everybody to do the same thing, it never happens. If there's a group of you, you'll always find that in that group, there are some that are strong, some that will fight for truth, and others that will be at the back of the queue saying that we're here, but they're the first ones to run at any sign of, I wouldn't say trouble, but any sign of having to be strong. I was out here on numerous occasions when they told to lock me up, and I was out there and they gave me a fine of 600, and I actually held my hands out and said, arrest me then, arrest me. And he didn't arrest me. He went crazy, but he didn't arrest me. He ran into the town hall, came back out with a piece of paper and asked me to sign that piece of paper. I showed people on here when it all happened. It was for 600, and he said, sign here. I said, I'm not signing nothing. Don't ever sign anything, because that when you sign, you're accepting responsibility. You're accepting that what you've done is wrong. I'm not signing that. That made him even more crazy. And it wasn't for one of the police officers that told him to calm down. And I said, this guy isn't well. I said to the other two, this guy is not well. There's something very wrong. And I was right. Absolutely right. Because a few weeks later, he left or he was kicked out. And I sometimes see him up and down on here. He wasn't well. I don't know whether he got cancer or whatever, but he wasn't well. He was sick and he was angry. And then he lost his job. But the point being is I didn't back down. But so many did. So many fell in line. So what's different from now, today, and 5 years ago? Nothing. It continues and continues. And this is where we are. So to trust other people to all do the same thing at once, I couldn't do that. I couldn't trust other people. I would like to think everybody would, but they wouldn't. All I see is more people banging pots and pans and coming up with excuses because they're so weak or so blind or have no consciousness that say, yeah, don't let them go in that forest in Canada. Don't let them walk in that forest because they could do this and they can cause, like, we have fires every day here. We have fires all over the place. There was a fire right next to my house and it was put out very luckily, but there's forest fires all the time. It's got nothing to do with the fires. It's to do with finding ways of creating suffering to humanity. And this is what they do with, well, suffering is, there's so many ways they can make you suffer. Oh, there's another speed camera. Why? Well, we thought we needed it because too many people drive too fast. We don't want anybody to die. So you put a speed camera up. Yeah, that's why we do it. Then you sit down and you're having a drink with that copper. And that copper said it's got nothing to do with how fast anybody's driving. It's just that it brings in so much money for the government. You realize that it's all a lie. It's all a con. The cars that they're building now, they don't want you to drive. They don't want you to get into a car and drive. They don't want you. They want you in chains, in shackles. They don't want you to drive and be free. They hate your freedom. The one thing that the elites hate is your freedom. They hate the fact that you make money and you have freedom. They're going to take that away from you. They want to stop you. So even if you make 100 million, it still won't matter because you'll still be part of the non-club. You are not part of the 300 families in this world. You are not part of the bloodline. You are not one of them. And thank God you're not. So that's where I am today. I'll figure things out. Would be nice to find somebody here in Spain that could work alongside me, that could help me with all these technical things. And I maybe start to look for somebody from now. I might actually put it out there and say I'm looking for somebody who is self-employed, who can come and work for me by the hour and actually help me with set up everything so that maybe I can be on school. And I'll see. But till then, I do wish you a lovely day. Things are wonderful because I choose to make them wonderful. I do my best to share truth like on here and with those that I believe want to know. I don't push or force anything. And I work with crystals because I know they're good for me and good energy for me. And they help me through the day. This one has been so good thus far on me. This is called nummite. Nummite is, I can't explain what it is, but when I look at it, it's like looking into the universe. It gives me strength. It's helping me along my journey at the moment. So take a look at nummite. It's really fabulous at the moment. Great energy. Moldavite, I work with that at least for 2 hours a day now. I've got a beautiful collection over here that I'm working on. You can see them in the background there. So I've got high quality Besanitze, and I've got some like A grade Besanitze. So it's a little bit less, but all beautiful energy, very powerful. So I've been working on them. That's been helping me no end. So let's finish on a good note, shall we? I'll try to. I shall put these glasses on before I go. And let's close my eyes and just grab a card. Okay, you see my eyes closed. So what card have we got today? Yeah, Angel of Sensitive Hearts. So this is for you today. You are one of the most delicate of hearts. You see so much deeper and feel so much more. At times, with such a gift, you feel very much alone, as if you don't know where you should be, or even if you belong in this world. But never doubt how much you are needed here. I am the Angel of Sensitive Hearts, and very rarely do I call, but I needed you to know that you are perfect, beyond anyone's understanding, except mine. That's nice. Kind of fits fairly well, right? And we've got 111 people on right now. Yes. Okay, let's not stop there. Let's choose another one. See, my eyes are closed. I know I do magic, but I'm not good with cards, so I'm not just winding you up, okay? So this is the card that it says. So today is your card, your angel cards. If you want to know what deck it's from, this is from my first edition. Got a nice feather there. So your message today is sending love. Let go of any issues you may have with someone and say whatever issues we once held. Today, I am letting go of them all. You can do it because you are strong and loving. Do this with an intention of sending love and not simply just letting go of anger. In this way, everyone wins. Watch how happiness will return, not just to you, but also to every single soul around you. And this is very, very true. I've learned that from reading from many, many people in my life. There are certain ways of letting things go and doing it in a way which is so intentionally beautiful and loving, is so well received by you and your energy. It's incredible. Okay, finish on one of these, okay? So where we're going today, and tomorrow and the next day. Well, that's a nice card. So the Triumph card is normally the card that says that your mind is growing stronger. And in these next 6 months, you will, in fact, find your path is absolutely clear. So there may be a little bit of rubble here and there, but you will be able to just jump over it and navigate through it very easily. So this next 6 months is about happiness, joy, success. It tells me that I see the beautiful mountain with the light on top. So this is all about strength, power, success, and finding your path. So this is a good time. Embrace it and just hold on to the number 6. Really nice. When the world is falling apart and you're still strong, when the world is going crazy and you are still balanced, this is why you're here. There is no doubt about it. Pain is inevitable, but the suffering is optional. I choose no longer to suffer. I know that my family in spirit, my mum, everybody that I love is around me whenever I choose to call them. I know I'm protected, but I also know that when I cross the road, I need to look left and right. So I do use my brain. I use my brain even when the man next to me crosses the road, but he's not looking because he doesn't hear anything. And yet, that is not correct. You should never cross the road and not look, because there are bikes with no sound and they can run into you. So you use your brain, but you also use your intuition. Use them both wisely, and you will not be let down. You will not be mocked. You'll not be ridiculed, and you will not be hoodwinked in this world. Always use your intuition and follow it. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully they won't take this video down. I don't think I've said anything too bad. Please let me know if you think I've said something too bad, because I'll take this video down right now. Do you think there's anything there that I said that may cause them to take my channel down? What do you think? I tried very carefully not to say anything. Anyway, it is what it is. So this video was on apparently Facebook. I managed to connect it to Facebook as well. So that's quite cool. Not really. Yeah, the best way, if you want to contact me, the best way is through info@markbayerski.com. But the girls normally answer everything, and if they're stuck with something, then they will. But I don't do psychic one-to-ones or one-to-one healing sessions because I've retired. But other than that, if you want to know about crystals and things like that, I sometimes will attune to them. If you want to know, I also do videos, live streams with attuning to crystals. I also have a lovely special offer where you go on to markbayerski.com and it's Mark will attune to the crystal for you. That I like. I do that every week. We normally do maybe between 5 and 10 a week crystals that I attune to. So basically you buy a crystal and then I go down there and just go through them all and attune to them. Other than that, yeah, get ready, because very soon there's a beautiful book coming out by Mark Bayerski. Long awaited. No, it's not The Power of Moldavite. It's the other book. So yeah, get ready for that. It should be a beautiful book. The artist is now starting all the images. I had to wait a couple of months because she was very busy. So the book is called The Ancient Art of Flower Reading. And after you've read this book, you will know how to read flowers for your friends and family. And it's also got a beautiful 50-page of beautiful flowers. And the flower that you chose or choose will tell you how you are, who you are, and how amazing you are. yeah, so I'm really pleased about it. It's really beautiful. For anybody who thinks, I just want to pre-warn people, okay? This is out of the goodness of my heart, right? There are two ways of bringing a book out. One way is to go to a company, and what you'll find is that company will probably try and charge you anywhere between 2,000 and 10,000. And what they'll do is they will say to you, they'll give you all of these wonderful fancy things that they do, like we will monetize, we will do the search engine stuff, we'll do all of these things, we'll get it out there everywhere, we'll put them onto all of these things. And when you ask them, what do you get for your money when you take this book and you make it and then you put it out there? They're normally very, very different. So they're very powerful at selling, but when you ask them tough questions, they're kind of like, you can see there's something, you can feel it. It's not right. There's something not right here. And it's true. I've known this for many years, and I've seen too many people fall for it and too many people lose. The only people who win is them. Okay. So I'm telling you now, if they tell you that, look, at worst, you'll get your money back, that's not true. That's a lie. Okay. That's a damn right lie. Okay. Maybe 1 or 2 might out of 100. But what they do is they try to make money on you. The more money they spend on employing people to get that book out, it's just eating up into your money. So it doesn't make any sense. And it's, of course it isn't. So what they'll do is they'll just do a standard sending off here and there, and they won't do anything other than that. And then when you complain, they just say, oh, well, I'm sorry, this is what we do. So what I do, I don't go to companies. I don't go to try and get my book printed by, these big companies that say that we're going to, it's very difficult. But doing it on your own and creating, like, if you've got a presence on YouTube, if you start building up, like I did over the years, build up your clients by way of, and friendships by way of sharing, freely or your information. And you're on Facebook, you might be on Twitter, or all of them places. And then you go to a company and you ask them to print the book, just to print the book. So you get the book and they print it for you, depending on what quality you want. Now you've got all these books, but also you get the book in ebook, and you make sure you get a website or a page, some kind of page. And you do a little write-up and you explain what your book's about and you put it out there. So if I were like, my first book, Diary of an Accidental Psychic, I did it through, the only platform back then was Amazon. Really, that was the only platform. And I didn't have a lot of money. So, and you could buy one at a time. So I remember buying 300. And when I got it ready, I sold them and I put an ebook out there, and I realized that I was selling so many myself. And what I'd do is I'd sign a copy, I'd sign it, and like I'd close my eyes and see, like, Jenny wants to buy this book. I'd close my eyes and just put a little message in there. So that was nice as well. And I'd send it to them. And my ebooks were selling like crazy. And I remember after maybe, I don't know, maybe about a year, I'd sold, I don't know, maybe 20,000, something like that. And the ebooks I'd sold probably maybe double that. So, they'd be just selling like crazy. I mean, this past year, I think I've sold, I don't know, of ebooks, loads and loads and loads. I've sold loads. So maybe 50,000 of the book. Ebook, you make more money because it's free. It's free money. It doesn't cost you anything. So you sell it cheaper, but you make more money than a book that you have to send off. So I remember talking to a lady who I've known for quite a while. She was a big author back in the 80s, who wrote about angels. And I asked her, because I was bringing out another book called Seeing the Invisible. That was my second book about my spiritual work and all the true stories. And I asked her, and she said that, because I was like, maybe maybe I'm thinking about going to a company. And I knew that she was, I think she was with Penguin or something like that. And I said, you know, just smiling, thinking, wow, you know, you must have sold like 100, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. And she laughed. She laughed at me. She says, Mark, you've no idea, have you? I said, no, I don't know. What? She says, if you're lucky, you sell, if you're lucky, you sell maybe 10,000. And I don't know if you know, but most of these big companies only give you a few percent. You get 2% or 3 or 4. So here, I speak to you not of a psychic or a healer, but I speak to you of somebody who's with a little bit of knowledge of what I've learned, which I share with you. Do your own book and then put it out there and do it yourself. That would be, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I do to this day. I actually at one point sat down and I had Moldavite in my hand, and I had the book in my other hand in paper form, not in a book, but the new one called, well, I was going to call it the Flower Bible, but because I'm not religious and I don't believe in the Bible in any way in the sense of religion, I thought that doesn't make sense. But it would be a great title, right? But no, the ancient art of flower reading, that's what it's going to be called, because that's what it is. It's that simple. And I held it in my hand. I had sheets in my hand and I held it. And do you know what came up? What came up was go to Interflora and show them the book. I didn't do it, but I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Where did that come from? So, you know, channeling is a very, very good thing to do. You should try it sometime. You'll be surprised how many wonderful things. You don't have to take on board it. You know, your mind is your own. Just because the spirit world is guiding you, you don't have to take that guidance. Just like if somebody talks to you here now, you don't need to take that guidance, but you take what feels right for you. Right or wrong, it's an experience. So I'm wishing you a lovely day. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Take care of yourselves. See you later. Thanks for joining me.